Look, let me ask you something. Have you ever sat late at night, scrolling through your phone, watching other people succeed, businesses, side hustles, investments, and thought, that's great for them. But I don't have money, I don't have connections, I don't even know where to start. If that's you, if you've ever felt stuck between big dreams and small resources, then this video is for you. And hey, if you're someone who wants to build something meaningful without rich parents, without big loans, without fancy degrees, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because what you're about to hear might change how you see money forever. Here's the thing. Most people believe success starts with money, but this story proves it often starts without it, and this is where it gets really interesting. Now look, we live in a world that constantly tells us you need capital, you need investors, you need experience, you need the right time. But here's what most people don't realize. According to studies on small business behavior, over 60% of successful small businesses started with personal savings under $5,000, not millions, not venture capital, just small intentional steps. Yet most people never start. Why? Because psychologically, the brain fears loss more than it desires growth. So we delay, we overthink, we wait for someday, and that's exactly where today's story begins. This is the story of Ethan. For over 30 years, Ethan lived the life most people dream of. He worked in large companies, he managed teams, he handled million-dollar decisions. By every definition of society, he had made it. But then something happened. As he grew older, Ethan realized something uncomfortable. Success had given him money, but not peace. So he did what shocked everyone. He stepped away. No big announcements, no dramatic speeches. He handed over responsibilities, sold most of what he owned, and moved to a quiet rural town, far from the city. Now, you might be thinking, why would someone successful start over? Here's why. Because real wisdom doesn't come from winning once. It comes from understanding why things work. And Ethan wanted to answer one question. If I lost everything today, could I build success again from zero? Every morning, Ethan walked through the local market. Not to buy much, not to sell anything, just to observe. And what he noticed changed everything. People weren't lazy. They weren't unskilled. They were trapped. Small shop owners, street vendors, local producers. They worked long hours, sometimes 12 to 14 hours a day, yet barely made enough to grow. One day, Ethan met a man named Daniel. Daniel sold homemade snacks, natural ingredients, great taste. People loved them. But here was the problem. The packaging was basic, the branding was non-existent, and Daniel only sold to people who already knew him. When Ethan asked how long he'd been doing this, Daniel smiled and said, almost 10 years. 10 years, with no growth. That's when Ethan realized something powerful. Hard work alone does not create success. Direction does. And stay with me here, because what Ethan discovered next is something most people completely ignore, and it might explain why so many businesses fail before they even begin. That night, Ethan asked himself a dangerous question. If I was starting today with no team, no money, and no reputation, what would I do? Not a big idea, not a revolutionary invention. Something simple. Here's what most people don't realize. The best businesses don't create demand. They remove friction. So Ethan went back to the market, not to sell, but to listen. And one problem kept appearing again and again. Almost every small business depended on one basic ingredient, flour, but they were buying it at high prices from inconsistent suppliers with unstable quality. Ethan realized, if I can make this one thing easier, cheaper, and more reliable, everything changes. Now, here's where psychology matters. Ethan had money, but he chose not to use it. Why? Because constraints force clarity. He invested a very small amount, created a simple product. No fancy factory, no large marketing budget. Just local sourcing, consistent quality, clean, modern packaging, a story tied to local culture. He approached shop owners one by one. And guess what? Most of them said no, but rejection didn't hurt him. Why? Because emotionally, he wasn't attached to ego. He was attached to learning. Each no answered a question. Was the price wrong? Was the packaging unclear? Was the value misunderstood? This is where it gets really interesting. Most people quit after rejection because they see it as failure, but successful people see rejection as data. Let's talk logic for a moment. Ethan didn't aim for big profits. He aimed for small margins, multiplied by consistency. Here's a simple example. If you earn $2 profit per unit, sell 50 units a day for 300 days a year. That's $30,000 annually from a product most people ignore. Success isn't about massive wins. It's about repeatable systems. And slowly, shop owners noticed, customers trusted the quality. Pricing was fair. Supply was reliable. Demand grew naturally. Now don't skip this part, because what Ethan did next is the reason this story isn't just inspiring. It's practical. Instead of scaling alone, Ethan did something unusual. He invited others in. He created a simple partnership model, low entry cost, shared profits, shared responsibility. Why? Because psychologically, people protect what they own. When others became partners instead of customers, loyalty skyrocketed. More sellers, more reach, more trust, and without big advertising, the product spread. So what does this mean for you? Here are clear steps you can apply immediately. 1. Stop waiting for capital. Start with problems, not money. 2. Observe before acting. Spend time understanding real pain points. 3. Build simple, not impressive. Simple products scale better. 4. Treat rejection as feedback. Every no is information. 5. Multiply small wins. Consistency beats intensity. Here's what most people don't realize. Success isn't built by extraordinary people. It's built by ordinary people who don't quit early. Look, you don't need to know everything. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need big money. You need clarity, patience, and the courage to start small. If a man could walk away from everything and rebuild success from zero, so can you. If this story helped you even a little, like the video, share it with someone who needs motivation. And subscribe to Art of Mind, because this channel exists to remind you of what you're capable of. Your journey doesn't start when you're ready. It starts when you decide.